Does having a low self-esteem make you undateable? It might, but it doesn't have to. If you don't understand how it will make your closest relationships more difficult to navigate, you will be at a disadvantage. My name is Anthony and welcome to Revive Coaching, where it is time to come alive. Let's face it, most people suffer from the effects of a low self-esteem, some more than others. I think everyone at some stage has thoughts of, am I good enough? Do I have what it takes? Will people like me as I am? If you have never wrestled with thoughts like these, then share your secrets with us. I think what differs from person to person is their ability to not let that self-doubt affect their lives too much. So what happens when these thoughts and feelings seem to dominate your life? With low self-esteem, you don't really like yourself. And not so deep down, you really don't think you are good enough. Like I always say, the difference between being alone and being lonely is that when you are alone, there is just you in the room. If you are lonely, there is just you in the room, but you don't like the company. A person with low self-esteem will engage in some pretty inexplicable and strange behaviors. You will find yourself in a lifelong struggle with either constantly trying to prove yourself or pushing people away. You will feel really good in one moment and devastated in the next. A smile can make your day. An unkind word can ruin your year. Always on high alert. You may have noticed by now that nothing makes you feel better for any real length of time. You will go back to feeling uncertain and unworthy pretty quickly. If you have been in a relationship with someone like this, you will know that there is nothing you can do to help that person. It's easy to understand why someone with a low self-esteem will continuously try to prove themselves. If I don't feel good enough, perhaps there is something I can do to be good enough. The trouble is that it is a continuously shifting goal, and you don't stop feeling unworthy. But why would some people push others away? This doesn't make sense when the goal is to not be rejected. Look at it this way. If I believe you are going to see me for who I am and ultimately reject me, then I will reject you before you reject me. Because then I have more control. As bizarre as that sounds. When you have a low self-esteem that dominates your life, you tend to attract the wrong people. Have you noticed? You either get a fixer or a user. Someone who will either try to fix you or someone who will try to take advantage of your low self-esteem. Both types of relationships tend to end in misery. Two halves do not make a whole. They make a bigger hole. As much as you want it to, a relationship cannot fix a low self-esteem. The best you can hope for is that if you can avoid rough seas, then all will be well. But that is simply not how life works. Ultimately, if left undealt with, at worst, it will end up destroying your relationships. At best, it will severely limit your happiness. My advice is to deal with your low self-esteem before you get into a serious relationship, or avoid getting into one with someone who is suffering from one. If you do get into one of those relationships, a lot of your time and energy will be spent dealing with this low self-esteem. Trying to constantly appease someone or dealing with irrational feelings is a waste of your time. You will be doing a lot of unnecessary work on a relationship that will probably not work out at all. I know that you have the urge to fix the other person, but you will fail every time. People with a low self-esteem are the champions of the self-fulfilling prophecy. They believe they aren't good enough and so are destined to be rejected. And they will do everything in their power to make that happen. Befriend them, but don't date them. Help them to see how truly awesome they really are. The truth is that until they do, they will be doing everything they can to prove they aren't. If you are the one with a low self-esteem, then seek the help of a good therapist. Learn to be alone but not lonely. Then you can be truly happy in a relationship. That's all I have for you today. In the next video, I will tell you all about the magic mirror on the wall. If this content has helped you, then help this channel grow by liking, subscribing, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. And remember, people will treat you the way you treat yourself.